Darts. In a game where you defeat Simon's wet dreams on a regular basis, where you face and kill the embodiment of fate, and in which there's this goddamn challenge. How is it that darts is the hardest challenge to complete? Those of you controller boys who've played this on the PlayStation, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. You privileged elite, you guys probably got to finish it in one, maybe two tries. What the series has taught us over the years though, is that we PC gamers, we're treated like the Sector 7s of Final Fantasy's Midgar. And we all know what happens to Sector 7. I'm here to show you how to beat the developer's terrible design choices for the PC and how to earn that luck up materia. Now let's start with the rules of darts really quick. It's pretty simple. You start off with 301 points. Your goal is to get to exactly 0. Every time you hit a section, you're going to lose the corresponding number of points. So for instance, if you hit this part, you're going to lose 5 points. This part loses you 10. There are 3 special zones though. One's the bullseye. If you hit the center, you're going to lose 50 points. The outer rim is worth double the number of points. So this zone, for instance, is worth 40 points instead of 20. And the inner rim is worth triple. So this portion is worth 60 points. If the score goes into negatives, you're going to lose a few tries and you're going to lose the challenge for sure. So you've got to make sure to land on 0 exactly. The astute among you would have realized that the perfect game needs 6 hits. That's 5 60s and 1 1. That's the best possible score. We've got to do it in 7. Normally it's not too bad an ask considering the brutal Final Fantasy minigames, but we have 2 major problems. The first is, if you're using a controller, you can navigate the crosshair to any part of the board and make it stay there. If you've got a keyboard though, things get really wonky. You can't even use your mouse to control the crosshair. You've got to use W, A, S and D. And they're anchored to the spawn location, to the starting point. Meaning that it's like trying to fight a black hole. The cursor's always trying to go back to the starting location, and if you let go for even a second, it's gonna shoot back all the way to the starting point. Unlike a black hole though, the further you go, the faster it flies back. Meaning that if it spawns in some random corner, getting a bullseye is gonna be really tough. The second problem is that you don't have infinite time. There's a pulsating ring, and you've got to hit enter when that ring is at its center. That's called a perfect shot, and only then will it go where you aim it. This ring pulses only twice, meaning you've got only 2 tries to get it, after which you automatically miss. Not only do you have shit controls, you've also got only about 6 seconds to work with them, which is like maybe 1 or 2 usable seconds, considering you have to hit enter when it's at its center. So we've got to strategize. The first thing you've got to do is get the perfect timing down. This shouldn't take too long. You can see when the ring converges, just practice moving the cursor around and hitting enter at the right time. That should take about 5 minutes. The next step is the most important. If the crosshair spawns near the center, you're good. It's a no-brainer, just go for the bullseye. Thing is, if it spawns outside the inner ring, you're gonna have to change up your strategy. Often you'll spawn really far away from the center, but you'll almost always be close to a triple. And the way the game is structured is that next to every high number, there's a low number. It's designed to punish players who try to go for the high triples and miss, but we're going to be using that to our advantage. If the cursor spawns outside the outer ring, you're going to want to target the triples that are higher than 10, the high triples, and try exercising those mental lobes and figuring out if there's a nearby triple that can be reached by moving either vertically or horizontally. This makes it a lot easier since you're only going to be hitting one keyboard key. Diagonally works too, but if it's at some odd angle, then you've got to be careful. With some practice, you should be able to land even those, but if it's really far out, then just go for a high double. One high double is fine. The decider is the final shot. For all the others, you're just looking for a good number. But for the final shot, you're looking for a very specific number because you want to land on 0. If the score goes into negative, you're going to lose. Don't worry though, the thing about this strat is that it lets you have one bad shot. You can see in this clip that I do mess up a shot, but I still have a chance at the end. Ideally though, you want to mess up as little as possible because you don't want your last shot to be a double or a triple, because that's a very small portion of the board. If it's something like 19, you've got a big, easy to hit section. Now, if you follow these clips, you should be able to beat the game in 30 minutes or less. Just keep at it, don't stress, and Bob will be your uncle.
You playing that gosh dang video game again?
Uncle Bob?